Joy here. Rachel and I would like to welcome you to You're All Right, Get Up, a podcast full of laughter, personal stories, encouragement, and often a show about living life. As a disclaimer, our podcast does not offer professional therapy or treat illness. We are a motivational, supporting podcast sharing our life experiences, stories, and laughter.
Are you ready for part 2?
I am ready.
This is the conclusion of
Dum Dum Dum.
What do you do at the Grand Canyon when the person has told you that's afraid of heights that you've taken, I'm done, and you've got a week-long vacation there?
Yes, it's been a cliffhanger. I've been on the edge of my seat.
I know you have. Because your Yahoo friend, once again, was like, this is a great idea. And your husband, once again, is sacrificed, like, we're going to go to the Grand Canyon for you.
Yeah.
Where we live is just such a different contrasting landscape. You know, it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that part of the country. And actually, when I was in Flagstaff, I was like, this is where I'm going to live. I'm moving back.
Really?
Yeah.
You would
it.
live there? Really?
Yeah, I loved it. It's such a cute little town.
I think it's beautiful. I just don't know if I could live there.
I could.
Yeah.
I like to give it a go.
Yeah.
It's a good thing I didn't plan out our trip. Poor Brian. He's done. When we return off the bus from taking the tour of the points, he is comatose as well as I am. We get in the car and we just drive, and there's no words said between us.
Goodness.
For an hour and a half.
Oh my goodness.
After the shock wears off, we go to dinner. And he's like, I'm sorry, I can't do the heights again. Because again, I mean, it's not just 500 feet.
Yeah,
I mean,
these
this
are
is
not
high.
your average, height or whatever. This is really, I mean,
This is high.
life and death.
Yeah, even I am having problems.
Right.
And I was like, that's fine. We'll figure something else out. See how much I've matured.
Right.
I will have to say that night, it hits me how stupid I was getting on the ledge. And I wake up like at midnight and just like fussing at myself. Like, you could have died so easily. You know,
Oh my goodness.
That rogue squirrel had taken you down. Like, here's another idiot. Take her. Take her. And I get mad at Rod. Not seriously mad. I was like, how could you let me do that? So I don't get any sleep. He decides to go online and try to find other places to visit.
Right.
And there is a petrified forest
Oh, wow.
close by where we are in Arizona. It's known for its fossils and fallen tree that lived in the Jurassic time period. And he's like, hey, why don't we go here? He'd probably like, what's the elevation? So I was like, okay, fine. So we did go to this park. And it was neat. It's probably not something that everybody thinks, I'm going to go to the Grand Canyon and the petrified forest.
Right.
There wasn't a lot of people there. It was really, really cool. Part of the piece where it's located, see a part of the actual original Route 66 road.
Oh, yeah.
So that was neat. And you just see all these different fossils. And it's neat seeing these trees that are so old.
Oh, yeah.
And if I remember correctly, they actually weigh your car before you go in. And then they weigh it coming out because people have stolen.
Oh, no.
Which I just can't understand people doing this.
Wow.
And so they make sure that you're the same weight. I'm thinking, ooh, shouldn't I eat that sandwich? No.
Better put that rock back in the gift shop.
It's like, what if I buy this right here? Because I don't think they had a lot. I mean, you can, like, there's places on the road before you go into the park where you could buy pieces like that. But as far, I don't remember anything actually in there. But it does, like, you want a snack? Nope. I'm going to do some walking, do some exercise.
Yeah.
Like, y'all lost weight. I'm like, yes, thank you. And so again, the landscape around that area is just magnificent. And I can't remember what they're called. They're not, I always want to call them hieroglyphics, but they're not. They're like something with a P, where ancient civilization lived and had drawn on the rocks.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, I always like want to say petrographed or whatever, but we saw those. I mean, they're thousands of years old. It was just amazing. And like I said, like the landscape, the different colors that you see, it's just beautiful. And I had a really, really great time. So Brian, after we go to the petrified forest, he researches it and he finds out there was a meteorite that hit nearby and created this huge crater. Wow. So I was like, oh, that would be awesome. I've never seen anything like that. So we go out to basically somebody's ranch, it felt like, because you know how you cross the roads and it's got those little cattle crates where they can't walk across it. I'm like, I mean, should we be looking for a bull? But we eventually get out there and you go in and it has a museum first. And you learn all these great scientific facts that I have forgotten, as you will know as I continue to speak. But you go through the museum, and when you finish, and part of the museum, they have like a little piece of the meteorite in there, and like figure out how heavy it is. It's a lot heavier than you think. And it's just a little piece. I wish I could remember exactly how much it weighed compared to other things. It was really cool. I thought they did a really great job. Then you go through the museum, like I said, and then you exit out. And then, ta-da, there's this huge crater. And of course, it's like shaped like a giant bowl.
Right. Yeah.
It's like 700 feet deep and over 4,000 feet across.
Wow.
And so 2.4 miles in circumference was craved into this once flat rocky plain.
Wow.
And it's huge. And so we're taking pictures, and like they put like a little mannequin at the bottom to give you some kind of depth perception, because you really can't tell.
So I'm sorry. I have to ask this question.
Okay.
I just have to. What was there before the meteorite hit? I'm thinking to myself, if that's the case, I mean, literally what was there maybe? Or
could you imagine like that's a good question.
I mean, you're not going to be able to run that fast.
No, could you imagine? Like you're standing there and you're looking at the night sky. I don't know why I think it happened at night. And you're like, a star looks like it's moving towards me.
It's getting bigger.
Oh, wow. Look at that. And then you call your spouse and they're like, is that getting closer? Or is it in my imagination?
Right? Exactly.
No, you're good. Yeah. You're good. Both me and my husband were nearsighted, so he'd be like, no, we're good. Like, I feel like something's falling on me.
I'm just curious, really, if that was part like in the museum, if they said, or if it was just an open field, or when did this happen too? Like what?
Oh gosh, you would get, I don't remember.
You don't remember? I was just curious if it was like 20s, 30s, 40s, or how long it's been there.
No, but this would be good for our viewers, our listeners to do some scientific, this is your scientific project.
Oh, yeah. Homework.
Yeah, homework. Probably would help too if I could remember the name of the crater. Barringer crater.
Barringer.
And so I did write this down to give you a better idea of the crater's size. Imagine 20 football fields being played. Why did I say played? Being played simultaneously on its floor while more than 2 million spectators observe from its sloping sides. 2 million.
Wow. That is really, really big.
Yes. It says there's also evidence of the crater being referenced by Native Americans in the area. However, the first written report was not made until 1871 by a man named Franklin, who served as scout with General Custer. I don't think I'd want it to be known like this. It said, for years, the crater was referred to as Franklin's Hole.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean, like we're going to name it. Get ready.
Scratch that.
Rachel's Hole. No. Negative. Let's try something else. Brian is probably screaming at all the information that he remembers about this crater. So we walk out, and it's a good size. I don't know when it was the hit, but anyway, we start climbing up the steps to go even higher to overlook it. And he was like, nope, can't do it. I was like, really? He's like, nope. He's like, you go enjoy it. So I did. And it had like those little, I don't know if I actually put a coin in, where you put the coin in and you kind of have like a binocular thing, viewer or whatever you want to call it, so that you could see the little mannequin at the base of the craters to give you some kind of depth perception. So that was really, really cool. I mean, it was a great experience. So both these attractions, I probably wouldn't have picked up because I probably would have been focused on the Grand Canyon because that's why I was there. But it was really fun. After seeing the crater and knowing that was a bust, the next day I was like, what do you do? Yeah. And they actually have something they call the Bearizona.
Bearizona.
Yes. It's a wildlife park, and it's located pretty close to Flagstaff. It's actually in Williams, Arizona. And you get to, it's like a zoo. And then there's also a piece that you get to drive through. You go through like different exhibits, like a zoo. You like go through this section where you have wolves. And it's really cool because they're pretty close. Bears, hence why they named Bearizona, bison, and all kinds of things. And that was really, really fun. I enjoyed it. It was a wildlife park, and I'm all into that.
Right.
And I do remember we had a GoPro and he wanted to put it on top of our car. And I'm like, no, don't. They'll see that. And the bears will be like, out of all the things that they see, they'll see that there's a car with a GoPro on it and attack it. Because another thing they tell you is don't stop. Just keep going.
Right.
And I'm like, we'll be the people that stop to get the bear off the car that's trying to eat the GoPro. And then we lose the GoPro and our car rental is not covered by grizzly bears. But again, it was another attraction that we probably would not have done if it had not been because of our limitations on height, which is fine. And then we also went through the town of Williams, Arizona. And it seems like Route 66 also went through that town. So it was like had sections that were 50s theme. So that was really cool and had like older cars. So I enjoyed that. It's been a couple of days. We're feeling pretty good. And
got your groove back.
We got a groove back. Brian's like, yep, let's go. And there's a canyon actually close by Flagstaff. I think it's called Walnut Canyon. And you can actually see where the cliff dwellers, you can see where they lived.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
Live inside the caves. Or maybe they carved out homes in the mountains or whatever in the canyon. And all I can think of is what if they have a Brian with them? Like, where's he going to live?
Well, maybe.
Where's he going to live? Or my brother's afraid of heights too. Like, what do you do? All right, you may be eaten by animals. What's your fear? What's your greater fear? Falling off the cliff? Or eaten by a saber-toothed lion?
Maybe they stay toward the back of the cave.
I'm sure that's it. But you got to get up there because it's actually in the side of the canyon. But anyway, so he's like, hey, let's go to Walnut Canyon. I think I'm better. And it's not as high. Okay. I'm all for it. I think that the Walnut Canyon is only a quarter mile wide and it's about 400 feet deep, which compared to 3,000 and 5,000 with the Grand Canyon, this one seems pretty doable. We go there and when you park, you go inside the visitor center. Again, we go through all the exhibits. We even listen to the film discussing the cliff dwellings.
Right.
Very excited. When you walk out, you're at the canyon top, and then you descend down. You take a path and you kind of descend down into the canyon. Again, it's got 1945 railing that only come to like your thigh level. Seems like it was also the kind that just has the chain that tied to each pole, whatever. We're descending down, and I'm just talking. I know that's hard to believe. Just a going. And then at some point, again, I'm not getting any communication coming from my loving husband. And I turn around and there's some stranger.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I thought you were my husband. It's another couple. And the sidewalk is so narrow. You can't just let them pass. You kind of have to get where it's wider.
Right.
So I eventually keep going down and then I get to a path and then I got to go back up the 5 million steps. But anyway, I'm like, did he fall off?
Brian?
I was like, hello? I was like, no, he didn't fall off. He would have screamed.
Yeah.
So I go back inside the visitor center and I'm looking around. No Brian. And I guess that the park ranger, he sees me. And he's like, are you okay, ma'am? Well, I was walking down the little path. I turn around, my husband's gone. And now I can't find him inside. Is there any way you go into the men's restroom, make sure he's not in there? He's like, sure. He goes and he's like, he's not in there. I'm like, now I'm like, he fell.
Like, oh no.
I was just talking. His last words would be just rambling on about these these cliff dwellings. And I won't shut up for him to say help. And I'm starting to really panic.
Right.
And he's like, ma'am, do you think that he might went back to the car? And I'm like, no, he would not do that without telling me.
Yeah.
So I go out there. Yep, he's out there. He's actually on a bench in the parking lot. Now I'm thinking my husband's fallen.
Right.
And here he is freaking out on a bench. And I was like, why didn't you tell me you turned around? Like I was starting, like when he came out and said you were in the bathroom, I was like, he fell.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I'm so sorry. I couldn't take it anymore. I'm like, can't give me a heads up that you're turning around?
Yeah.
Like, hey, it's done.
Throw a rock at me?
Yeah, just go. At least like grunt. And it's like, well, I didn't want you to feel like you had to come back. I wanted you to enjoy the trip. Well, once you hike down that, you got to hike back.
No. I'm so sorry. That's funny, not funny. But if you'd have gotten all the way down to wherever you were going, and then you were like, where is he?
I know.
You had to turn around and go all the way back.
And like,
Oh my gosh.
it's 400 feet deep. So you're going down. Like, all of a sudden you're like,
Oh my goodness.
I was like, did you think I was so oblivious that I would not notice? No, I mean,
until it was over?
like, look at these dwellings, babe. Babe, I'm just wondering.
I'm just picturing you like going around looking at everything. Oh my gosh.
You know what's got me? Because what did that man think? Because I'm just talking.
man.
And I probably was talking about the fact that what do you do if some of your family members can't do heights? Like, how are they going to get up there?
Oh my gosh.
And I was just thinking, like, what if I just kept talking? Because this was before really Bluetooth took off. And they're just like, hey, stay away from that crazy lady.
Oh, you should have just turned around and been like,
So what do you think?
"See, this is Joe." You just point to the air.
Yeah,
This is
my imaginary.
This is my imaginary friend. Do y'all still want to go down here with me?
Let's hold hands.
Will you be my friend?
I don't know what in Ron's mind. What did he think? I would just keep going?
See, that's my question. It's like, what do you think when you got down there? It's like,
I'd be like, yeah, I'm just gonna keep going.
I'm glad you found out a little sooner.
I know. I mean, it wasn't like too quick off the path because you're single file. I'm just like, da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, what do you do? What do you this? What do you think that?
Oh, me.
And like, whose first idea was like, you know what? We're gonna move up. We're gonna go up to the top. No, thank you.
You probably too. If you have a phone, you have hardly any cell phone.
No,
Like,
no,
don't-
this is
you
out.
Don't get any.
No.
Yeah.
No. And you might think, like, poor Brian, she's traumatized him. This is probably his worst family vacation ever. It's not done.
There's more.
There's
more.
more. There's more.
Today's episode is brought to you by Endeavor Promotions out of Birmingham, Alabama. If you would like to reach out to them, you can do that at endeavorpromotions.com.
There's another lesson to learn. We go through Walnut Canyon. There's actually a trail that kind of hugs loosely.
You should.
Oh, no.
You should have just had a bag of almonds.
What?
Sorry. You should have been eating almonds going through Walnut Canyon. Mixed nut.
Well, there was 2 nuts already in there.
Right. Okay, sorry.
I'm not through traumatizing. So Walnut Canyon, we do learn that there's another trail on top. Uh-huh. It kind of weaves in and out, but it doesn't get real close to the edge. So we just do that trail. So we do, again, find a way to have some fun and entertainment.
Right.
The next day, I was like, let's go to Sedona. If you've seen the pictures of the Red Rock, it's absolutely gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Let's do that. I have the Waze app, a little plug for them. Mm-hmm. And this is a lesson I learned. When you're in a new place, make sure you look at the elevation of the roads. So I just plug in Sedona and it says, here's your shortest route. Mm-hmm. I'm like, winner, winner, chicken dinner. So we get in our little rental car. It's about the size of a dime. And we get in there and we're going and it's like beautiful. It's a beautiful scenic road and it's called 89A, AKA the death road. For Brian, the highway to hell.
Oh, no.
Yes. We're riding it, and it basically goes from like 6,000 something feet down to 4,500.
Woo.
No railing on most of it.
Oh, boy.
I don't know what Arizona, if they went through and said, you know what? We're not paying for railing anywhere. We like our views. If you can't walk straight or you stumble, too bad for you. Bye-bye.
That's why it's a desert.
Yes, exactly. 100.
Too bad for you.
So sorry. I'm like, I'll send you some money. I'll send y'all some money. So we ride on this road, and all of a sudden it goes from like being wooded on each side to starts getting a little steep. We're at the top of the mountain basically, and we're going down. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden it starts raining, and not just
not
a little sprinkle. I mean, monsoon, like sideways rain.
Oh no!
And we're in this little rent-a-car. I don't really know about the tires. And I'm comatose because I had a wreck years ago where I hydroplaned. So now when it rains, I go like into my own world where I'm just petrified. And I was thinking, I'm glad I'm not driving because we'd be going 5 miles an hour. And we're basically going 20. And we have a whole line. We have a train of cars behind us because we're just like easing down. And it feels like it takes us 5 hours.
Oh no.
So the lesson was always check roads. Elevation before you get on. Don't just be like, ways it up.
Yes.
I mean, God love Brian. He's like, when we get to the bottom, we both get out of the car and we're like shaking. It was a very traumatic. It should be on one of the deadliest roads in America.
Wow. I'm going to have to look this up.
You should. It's a beautiful ride. And I'm sure that the people who put it on YouTube aren't in a storm and they probably know their tires.
Exactly.
You know, I like the all-weather, deep treads, not going to slip road. Mm-hmm. And the little windshield wipers are just a-going. I'm like, can they go any faster? Get down, and I think it's like called Red Rock or something like that, state park that we go into. And he's just not really feeling it.
Oh, no.
So we're going. It's a beautiful place. And unfortunately, I can't remember the guy's name. I think it's like Jack Fryer or something Fryer. But anyway, he was the TWA president. Remember that airline? Mm-hmm. And it's one of those stories like you wish you hadn't Googled. They actually, fell in love. Him and I think his wife name was Helen, maybe. And they built a home out in this beautiful place, and they had like things imported in, and it was such a beautiful home. Unfortunately, he got killed by a drunk driver. I'm not laughing at him, but like when you look it up and you think this is going to be a happy ending, and then you're like, oh, they divorced, and then he got killed by a drunk driver in a car accident, and then she stayed out there. I think she did a lot of charity work, but it made me sad, so I'm depressed after I read their story.
Oh, my goodness.
He's depressed because he's thinking he's got to go back over 89A. And there's also this place, I think it's called like the Red Line, where like mountain bikers actually ride on the side of the cliff.
Ooh.
It's crazy. And I really wanted to kind of stay and watch them and see, what that was all about. But we didn't, because unfortunately that was very traumatic for us both. So I would have liked to go back to Sedona and do more exploration of that area because it's really beautiful. It's the landscape that I love with the red rock and the different formations. It's absolutely beautiful. But as we're eating lunch and getting ready to at some point return, my loving husband says, I can't do 89A. Can't do that road again. And I was like, that's fine. I will find us a way. I don't care where we end up having to drive through. We'll get back. Don't worry about that. So we do. We ended up get back on the interstate, and it's easier. But poor Brian. So now he's been traumatized with this as well. This vacation was from hell for him.
Wow.
So it's been a few days now. And I was like, hey, I really want to go to the Grand Canyon at sunrise. Mm-hmm. And he's a great photographer. Let's go back. So we wake up super early because you remember it's an hour and a half to get out there. I think this is towards the end of our trip. It definitely was. I don't remember if it was the last day or the next to last day. We're going to go back to the Grand Canyon and get sunrise pictures. So we go. I'm very excited, along with other people who had the same idea. And again, I'm not the people person. Like, I love people. I'm not saying that, but I just don't want you close to me, touching me.
Right.
And we get ready to take, set up our shots and everything. And Brian's like, I can't do it. I'm done.
Oh, my.
It's so, he's like, here's my camera. Good luck to you. And I don't know what I'm doing with this camera. Those pictures turned out to be crap. I took better pictures on my iPhone because I didn't know what I was doing. But I will have to say I was very proud of myself because there was a lot of people from other countries that didn't mind getting close to strangers and getting right beside you. And I had to bust up in there, and Brian's like, I'm really proud of you. I thought once you went to that point and saw those people, he'd be like, nope. I was like, nope. I had to tell myself, how many times are you going to be here?
Right.
Suck it up, Buttercup, and get in there.
Yeah.
Act like they're giving away $1 million and you got to get your $1 million.
Wow.
But I was disappointed. My pictures were turned out, horrible. But we were like, hey, we'll just continue to tour this side of the Grand Canyon. So we're walking again on a path that's parallel to the canyon. And I want to say it's like 10 feet down maybe. And we're walking and all of a sudden we see some elk on one side where the woods are. Because their woods are one side and then the Grand Canyon's on the other.
They're beautiful.
And we're like, oh, look at them. They're so majestic. And they're the size of a horse, I would say. But I'm like, the man said don't get close to them. So I'm not. But Brian, along with others, they go in the woods a little bit. Not me. I stay on the sidewalk. He's taking pictures of them. And there's some babies as well. They start going further into the woods. So everybody's starting to come out. Well, I've been around horses.
Yes.
I never take my eye off the animals.
Yes.
Because I'm always afraid I'm going to be stampeded. And so I'm walking, but I'm keeping my eye out. And he's walking towards me. And all of a sudden, the bull comes out of the woods. All Brian hears is hoofs hitting the ground.
Oh, boy.
And his face, like, I need to turn around because there's something after me. Like, yeah, you do. And here comes this big elk coming out.
Ooh.
And I always thought, I'll be honest with you, I always thought of myself as a hero. I'm like, in the moment, I'm going to be in it and I'm going to save a life.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm a chicken. I'm not going to be heroic at all. Flee for your life. This is the second opportunity. I'll tell another story where one of my good friends, Amy, saved my life from drowning. But when she was drowning, I was like, I can't save her. Because
I'll scream from over here.
It's over my head. You're 7 inches taller than me. Anyway, so Brian, all of a sudden he hears this elk. He really probably feels him too, and he's charging. I immediately look for anything to take cover behind, and I see a very small sapling tree. I've never seen a horse really hit a tree. But someone go around the tree. Hopefully same thing with an elk. Go around the tree. So I go around and I'm behind it, and then Brian tries to get with me. And I push him away. I'm like, no, this is my tree.
My tree.
Because all I can think of is I'm going to get pushed off this cliff. I mean, I think if I could just like kneel down and not worry, like, okay, you're going to be stampeded by an elk. That'd be one thing, but I feel like it was going to stampede me. I guess it's really step on me. And then it's going to push me off the cliff because we're right there.
Right.
So Brian's like fighting for the sapling. It's like I'm holding on. No, but I do eventually give in. But I was no hero. I really thought I would be the type of person, like, if danger was coming towards me, I would be like, get out in front, get behind me, I'll protect you. Turns out I wasn't. I was get behind the tree and I hope you fit as well. So I was a little disappointed. So we had that incident, and then that trail weaved in and out. So we did get to go into like the woods and not so close to the edge. And then I love going into campground stores. So we got to do that. So there were a lot of things we probably wouldn't have done if I had somebody that was like, well, let's go close to the edge and explore it that way. I think it gave us a unique perspective of the Grand Canyon. And I appreciate that. Now, our last day, it's like, what do we do? Because we can't go back to Grand Canyon. Obviously, that's out. And so we just stay in Flagstaff. They have a train depot that has like a museum. So
Oh, fun.
I think I'm remembering that correctly. So we kind of explored that way. The Route 66 piece was fun. We went to some great restaurants. So in Flagstaff, there's an observatory.
Right.
So we're like, hey, that would be awesome to go to. We start going up the hill, and it's been raining for a couple of days. It starts going pretty steep up, and he starts like looking at me. I'm like, let's just turn it around. I'm scared because the roads are wet. You're scared because it keeps going steeper and steeper.
Yeah.
Let's just turn around. So we didn't even get to go because we both chickened out.
Oh, man.
But we had a really good time. We used the day to kind of just relax. So all in all, it was still I had a great time. And I think Brian still had a good time, even though I scared him continuously with going to places that were really high up. But he was a trooper. And like I said, he did find places to visit that was enjoyable.
Yeah.
That we did have a good time and enjoyed visiting.
Making memories.
We have another trip that's coming up, but I made sure there's no heights.
Yeah. You've double-checked the double-check, right?
The only part is the flights.
Oh, yeah.
The one plane is pretty small. It only has 2 seats per row.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's 4 seats if you go all the way across the aisle. So it's not a huge plane. So I'm like, ugh, hope we don't have to get on the tarmac to get on it.
Right.
We'll find out.
Well, that'll be fun. It'll be fun.
So
making more memories.
Yes, and I appreciate my husband hanging in there.
We love you guys very much. I want you to remember that you are stronger than you think. Don't give up. And if you feel overwhelmed and you can't do it on your own, reach out to a caring friend, a pastor, or counselor. And if you feel like you've reached rock bottom, the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline has caring people available 24/7, and they can be reached by dialing or texting 988.
Stay true to yourself, embrace the power of kindness, and know that you matter. Till next time, friends.